Hey guys, so today on the Atomic Bomb we're going to be talking about the Spanish Civil War expansion set. Now, this is a really cool one. What it basically does in a nutshell is it adds tons more depth to the Spanish Civil War. So it adds new units, new intervention options, new units after the Civil War, units before the Civil War. It's a really cool one. I'm super excited to get into this. So basically, overview of what this comes with. Those are the extra nationalists. Those are the extra Republican units. Some international grades. It doesn't come with the white chips because, historical board games are cheap piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. Great, great. I love historical board gaming. Please sponsor me and help me out. The forces in Spain and over there. Now let's get into the rules. So basically, it's a self-contained battleground. Like what comes in doesn't go out until after the war, and so you can't like declare war on Spain until the war is over. Basically, what's saying here. You the powers can pay to rebuild facilities, and then the big thing here is supply markers, which are right there. So what supply markers do is they allow you to upgrade militia to infantry and to an additional recruitment role. So those are definitely very good. They cost 1 IPP and they can be lend-leased, but they don't require factory and they don't like hurt the lend-lease unit amount you can send. So those are definitely worthwhile and worth sending. And then the Axis have several intervention options. So they can do the light intervention where they lend-lease. They can send the Condor Legion, which is basically one German infantry, but you'll move it via transport. This isn't lend-leased. And pretty cool market for it right there. Hats off to Historical Board Gaming on that one. That's a cool one. And then they can send one German aircraft, which I guess I would send a strategic bomber, but yeah, the German aircraft could definitely help. And then they can do a full intervention where they actually declare war on the Republicans. They can send all their German military units they want, and actually send German military units in, not just the Lend-Lease and the few you can send with that option. And it would definitely help the Nationalists win the Civil War, but it does increase the Soviet and British income by 2 IPP. So there's definitely costs and benefits to doing that. The Italians may also do just one infantry they send via transport, and then obviously also some Lend-Lease. And then they can also do the full intervention the same as the Germans with the same consequences. So the full intervention definitely has pros, but the 2 IPP income increase for the Soviets and the British is definitely a problem they got to deal with. And then the British can fully intervene on the side of the nationalists. And I'm not sure why they'd want to do this, because it negates the Axis's bonus for intervening. So the British don't get a bonus if they intervene, and then the Axis also intervene. But I guess maybe if the commentary was looking really strong in the game, they might want to do that. But yeah, I'm not really sure about that one. Then the French may lend-lease if they beat the Germans in a D12 roll. So some French help will come in, but not too much. And then on to the United States. The U.S. player may choose to intervene on either side. Then it adds a -1 to both sides' recruitment rolls on whichever side they intervene on, which is kind of weird. Like, does that help the recruitment roll by -1, or does it help it by like make the roll +1? I don't know. Comment section, help me out here. I really don't get it. I feel like it should be worded to get better, but I may also be an idiot. So like, if they support the nationalists and -1 to nationalist recruitment rolls, what does that do? I have no idea in hell. Okay, then the commentary and intervention options. These are really cool. So the Comintern, when they make the recruitment roll, and if the recruitment roll is specifically a 1, they can send a international communist brigade unit, and these are really cool. So if on the Republican recruitment roll they roll a 1, you send one of those to Spain, and those are really cool. It's a 2-2 militia. They can also build one fighter directly in the Madrid factory, which that's going to help out the Republicans a lot because I mean, they're already pretty beef in Madrid, and then one additional aircraft to turn. It does cost the Soviets some money, but 10 IPP, but still, if they can build a bunch of aircrafts in Madrid, the nationalists are dead. And then for each power that fully intervenes against the Republicans, they get an additional recruitment roll. Basically, the people support them more, the more powers that are fighting against them. And then the Soviets may do the full intervention, same as everyone else, but when they do that, decrease the income the Allies receive from the Axis intervention to 0. So it does definitely hurt their cause a little bit, but I don't know. The full intervention by the Soviets does seem like a better move than by the British. And then the Spanish Blue Legion. So this is basically the outcomes of the war. So if the Nationalists win, they didn't in real life they didn't help out the Germans in the war directly. But what they did do is they sent some volunteers to help the Germans, and basically that's what this is, the Blue Division. It's some volunteers they send to help the Germans out. So when they win the Civil War, they send that. And the Germans also can battle the British in a dice roll to use the submarine bases of the Nationalists, so that can help them out. And then when the Comintern win, basically spurs kind of worldwide communism. Like there's communist coups in Mexico, Central America, Yugoslavia. So that definitely helps out the Cominterns if they win. It's just like basically an additional buff. And then the random events. Holy crap, man. There are a lot of these. There are 12 of them. You roll a d12 on these. And so let's go down the list. Basically, this option is where if you roll this, the Soviets can ask the British to lend at least one per turn. The British accept; they have to do that, and then in return, Britain gets Spanish Morocco and the Canary Islands. So it's an interesting one that definitely helps out the Republicans, and the British will definitely get the choice on that, but I feel like they would accept it a lot. And then Portugal joins basically means Portugal joins on the side of the Nationalists. Failed embargo, basically Republicans are helped by the United States, so they get a +1 to the recruitment roll, and they get a 1 infantry increase to a motorized unit. And then Franco supports the Axis. Basically, Spanish nationalist units may attack Gibraltar. Huge. This one is insane because if you take Gibraltar, you seal the Med up. You know, there's the Suez, but you don't want to have to go all the way around Africa. That's a long ship ride. And then war spreads to Portugal. Basically, Portugal has a mini communist civil war, and if the communists win in that, the communists fully intervene against the nationalists. Pacifism, basically the war scares away some of the democracies and decreases their income, so very bad for the Allies if that happens. War spreads to France, basically increases France's communist support and makes it easier for them to support the Republicans. Then the right shift, the fascist elements gain increased power in France. So this means France can't help the Republicans anymore. And then if we roll this a second time, France may lend least to the nationalists. Some crazy stuff going on here. And then leftist shift, France may no longer need to beat Germany in D12 roll to lend least to the Republicans. So basically, full in on the Republicans. That's very historically accurate because the French did have a big communist element of their country. And then proving ground, basically one German unit may get a +1 and plus one attack and defense in Spain. So that definitely helps them out a little bit there. And then escalate, basically for the rest of this year, two powers that have intervened on either side in the Civil War may attack each other in a naval zone. So that is a huge one. So like actual fighting between maybe British and German ships in one sea zone per turn. That is a big one. And then the final thing here, there's some new units. Armored cars, which are basically just rip-off cavalry. And the Espadana-class battleship. That's a really cool detail. Basically, it's just a cruiser that the Nationalists have. It's right there, but it's a really cool sculpt. And hats off to Historical Board Gaming on that one. I shouldn't record at 2 in the morning. I can't talk. Because that is a really cool historical detail on that one. And then basically down to my final thoughts on the expansion. It's a great one. For $40, it gives you a lot of value, tons of units, and these markers over here, which is good value. The intervention options are awesome. I honestly rate this a 10 out of 10. And then comment what you think. What do you think about the expansion set? Do you think it's Comintern or Nationalist tilted? And would you pick up this one yourself? So, see you guys later.